beast that was Mike Tyson in the 1980s and the 1990s. The heavyweight Mike Tyson. The guy was a straight up killer. And when I mean a straight up killer, he had the uppercuts, he had the punches that if you blink, you miss it, and the people would be KO'd. But as his life unfolded and he got in trouble with the police and his trainer, Customato, died, people believed Mike Tyson was never the same fighter again. I believe that, to a certain degree, but certain things also can, a negative can also be a positive. So losing your trainer, Customato, you could use that as energy, use that emotion, control that anger, and then release it in the ring against his opponents. But it was never really seen. And when I'm thinking about Mike Tyson, and I'm talking about his defining fights that made him Mike Tyson, I'm struggling to pick someone out with real credibility that he defeated. When I'm thinking about the people that he did beat, they'd also been beaten off other fighters or lost later on in their careers. So for me, Mike Tyson's defining fights come against UK's Frank Bruno or Francis Bowfer. Now, Francis Bowfer was outboxing Mike Tyson in that fight until he got caught silly with a punch. I remember that. The two fights against Bruno, Mike Tyson just annihilated him. Bruno wasn't in his league. Let's say that Bruno definitely wasn't in Mike Tyson's league. But then when Tyson fought the likes of Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, even UK's Danny Williams, okay, he was on the decline, but even having a loss to people like Danny Williams, the Irish Kevin McBride, 2 losses to Evander Holyfield, 1 loss to Lennox Lewis, it'll be okay for me. I would say he had a great legacy if he only been defeated off Evander Holyfield. One was a disqualification and one he was not down. I think he actually got stopped in that fight. I'm not too sure if it was a knockout or stopped. TKO. So if he only had been beaten by the likes of Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis, I'd say that anyone could lose against them two. So he's cemented as one of the best heavyweights to ever live. But the fact that he lost to UK Danny Williams, the Irish Kevin McBride, and let's not forget the Buster Douglas. I've got something on my chin that's doing my head in. It's gone. I said UK, I don't know how to say UK. USA Buster Douglas. So there's a couple of defeats. When we throw it in, Danny Williams, Buster Douglas and Kevin McBride. Now they're quite average fighters when you're talking about defeats. And everyone can have an off night. But it seemed that Mike Tyson used to struggle against anyone that was a big guy and knew how to box a bit. Not someone who was like a Jennings, a big stiff idiot. He seemed to struggle at anyone who could land a jab. Tyson had a rock solid chin, let's not forget this. So Mike Tyson wasn't just, a come forward fighter. He had good speed, he had precision, he had power, he had good head movement, probably the best head movement you'll ever see from a heavyweight fighter or any other fighter in the world. To have that movement, boom, 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 and then to roll off the punches. And he really threw punches with the intent to simply destroy opponents. He almost used to have this kind of fear factor in him that he won the fight during the stare-off before the bell rang, or he'd win it in a press conference. But I just find it very difficult to put him in with the likes of the greats that have been, because he's never really had a defining fight where I thought, wow, it was a 50-50 fight, and it's absolutely obliterated his opponent. Galotto, you could say, he fought Galotto and he made Galotto quit. I do question Galotto's mental health in that fight, because prior to him quitting on his stool, Galotto had 2 good rounds against Mike Tyson. The tide looked like it was switching. So I'm not going to disrespect Mike Tyson because he's a great fighter, but when people say he's in my top 10 heavyweights, and then they put him like rank number 6, rank number 5. I struggle with that. I mean, I could put about 3 or 4 heavyweights that should be there. Now the 2 Klitschko's were in a shit era of boxing, but they still achieved greater things than Mike Tyson did. So there's 2 Klitschko brothers in there. Right, Rocky Marciano, I don't care what era he was from, 49-0, unbeaten. He used to fight during 15 rounds of boxing. So there's Rocky Marciano. So we've got the Klitschko brothers. Then we have to put Muhammad Ali up there, without a shadow of a doubt. We have to put even maybe Larry Holmes up there. George Foreman. Who else could we put up there? We've had so many good heavyweights over the years. You know, Evander Holyfield, like I said, had to be in there. I'm debating a couple more fighters, but you know, when we're talking Mike Tyson, people said the guy would be unbeaten, and he did have a style that looked like he'd go unbeaten. But any time he fought someone that wasn't just a standing statue, over 260 pounds, 250 pounds, something like that, who could actually jab, move, make him miss, catch him when he's coming in, boom, with an uppercut, then he never did well. But by round 5, you already knew Mike Tyson lost the fight. So we're definitely not putting Butterbean in the top 10. I'm just thinking Larry Holmes. I'm thinking if I missed someone else out. We've got the George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, the 2 Klitschko brothers, Lennox Lewis. So maybe Rocky Marciano, maybe he's in there, number 9, number 10. But he cannot be classed as one of the best heavyweights to ever exist. Look at Evander Holyfield, cruiserweight. He fought the likes of Riddick Bowen, beat him. He fought George Foreman, who hit like a baseball bat. Yeah. Mike Tyson flew through the ranks, boom, 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 20 fights in 2 years, 3 years? And then he never really achieved anything. He won the world title against Frank Bruno straight out of prison. And I don't have his record to hand. I don't know how many world titles he held. I don't know if he, defended and won them titles. So I'm just going off what I know in my head and what I think to be true. So Mike Tyson, if I had to throw him in there in heavyweights, and that's just because my knowledge only goes as far back as it can go, to like Rocky Marciano, and do we throw him in there? You definitely can't throw the likes of Anthony Joshua in there. I know Tony Bellew, fanboy, would say Anthony Joshua should make the top 10 probably next week. Forget about it. Tyson Fury. We could throw Tyson Fury in there. Where do we throw Tyson Fury in? Well, definitely not below Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury's achieved far greater things, and his opponents haven't been very credible. But let's face it, he's fought the hardest puncher in heavyweight history, Deontay Wilder, and in my opinion, beat him 3 times. He got a draw, and then he beat him 2 times after that. So we've got Tyson Fury there. And if we can keep digging deeper, we can think of the likes of David Tua. David Tua wasn't a bad fighter. So we can start. Tommy Morrison wasn't a bad fighter. That's one fight I would have liked to see. Tommy Robinson against Mike Tyson. So when you're throwing it all in here, you can't just say because he looked unbeaten for his first 20 fights, and you can't say just because he used to really knock out his opponents unconscious and not like 50 combinations, just one uppercut, he deserves to be on there. Let me know what you think. Personally, he's scratching number 9, number 10. I've got to put him in for what he's done for boxing, so it'd be hard not to include him in the top 10. If there's anyone I've missed out, please let me know.